Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 68th Annual Citation Banquet Event. We'll call it Citation Event. I am Renee Petties-Jones, President of NFJC, and I am thrilled to be here and thank all of you for taking the time out to come and acknowledge our honorees, and we are looking forward to having a wonderful evening. I know that the weather, we went all week long with great weather, and we waited till Friday, of course. But we're going to make the best of it, so I'm assuming that folks will be coming in as they can. We'd also like to welcome our online guests as well. This is going to be a wonderful evening for everyone involved. Thank you very much for being a part of it. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our event co-chairs and the board, beginning with our board chair for the NFJC, who has been involved with many other local agencies such as the Western New York Foundation, the Statler Foundation, and Cradle Beach, and more. And I'm sure everyone knows we have Bernie Tolbert, who is our NFJC chair. And our co-chair is Catherine Schweitzer, who is the Executive Director of the Baird Foundation and the NFJC Foundation Consultant, who also serves on numerous committees and boards and who is a constant champion of all things Buffalo. And without her, I couldn't have done as much as I did. Catherine, thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to our event co-chair, Catherine Schweitzer.
Thank you, Renee. Well, welcome and good evening. We are so glad you've joined us tonight as we recognize the significant gifts of service and leadership by our honorees. It is truly my honor to welcome you and to read the following land acknowledgement. NFJC wishes to both observe and share this affirmation. We believe it is important to acknowledge the land on which we are standing and where we live and work. With our strong partnership with the State University at Buffalo, we recite the words that they share at their events and gatherings. Please listen to these words. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we are standing. This land is the territory of the Seneca Nation, a member of the Haudenosaunee Six Nations Confederacy. This territory is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Treaty of Peace and Friendship, a pledge to peacefully share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. It is also covered by the 1794 Treaty of Canandaigua, a compact between the US government and the Six Nations Confederacy. This treaty further affirmed Haudenosaunee land rights and sovereignty in the state of New York. Today, the region is still the home of the Haudenosaunee people, and we are grateful for the opportunity to live, work, and share ideas in this territory. Okay. It's Bernie's turn.
Thank you, Catherine. And I'd like to join Catherine and Renee in welcoming you here. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to spend just a few minutes with us as we honor some very important people in our community. For 68 years, the NFJC has recognized numerous community members with a citation award for their outstanding service to our community and here in the West New York region. The criteria to receive this award is as follows. An individual or organization will have actualized respect for others, caring for others, being open-minded and tolerant, leading by example, diligent and industrious, and will have demonstrated responsible citizenship. They will be active in humanitarian concerns. They contribute to cultural, civic, and business organizations here in the Western New York region and beyond. And they have demonstrated an interest in supporting the mission and goals of the National Federation for Just Communities. And that goal is to bridge divides. This year, we have decided to categorize our awards And we'll begin our evening with our legacy awardees. Our first awardee in this category is a very good friend of mine, Herbert Bellamy, Jr.
I'm Jacqueline Bellamy Copeland. Yes, Herb is my brother. The young Herb loved Hot Wheel cars. But as a teenager, of course, he was competitive. He was in sports. I think all the teen years he was in sports. But he was always a team-conscious person. Our house was the kind of house that we could always bring our friends home, and some of our friends didn't have food or whatever, and so they could always come to our house and eat. And Herb brought his friends and stuff all the time. He's always gravitated, and he's got a big heart. You know, I was thinking about this. I remember a time he was driving down one of the streets here in Buffalo. This is probably my best moment. I was so proud of him. We saw a child on the street. It was in the winter with no coat and no shoes, and so he picked the child up and took him to the police station. And I just thought it was so big, you know, because we see things and we go, oh, that's really horrible. But he's proactive in thinking, and he couldn't leave that child there. So that's a really good example of his heart.
Jerry Murak, and I am my 30th year of my consulting practice, Murak and Associates LLC. I'm also a part of the Soap Park Corporation and developing commercial real estate. We met through Leadership Buffalo in 1997, and Herb and I had not previously met, and they were looking for volunteers for the day sessions, and I volunteered for the Diversity Day, and so the team was 6, and Herb was one of the team members, and that's how I got to know Herb. And then we reconnected in recent time during all the demonstrations this last year, Black Lives Matter, and I called Herb and I said, you know, Herb, I said, I want to talk to you. I want to know what I can do as an individual. He's done so much, but I'm doing what I can to support what he's done with Black Achievers and introduce him to folks. And you know, it's resulted in even more contacts for him and supporters of Black Achievers.
I'm Kevin Carter. I'm a judge in the family courts, but I'm the administrative judge for the entire 8th Judicial District. I think that social justice starts with equality. And you can't have social justice if we're segregated and if we don't care about one another. And so with him, it's the whole concept of equality. And that's not just racial equality, but it's gender equality. You know, when I first met her, he would do so much for the seniors. And so when you think about equality, you think about that as well, right? Like children, age discrimination, and all of these different things that we have to deal with in this wonderful country that's supposed to be about inclusion. Well, he epitomizes that.
He always wanted to be in the NBA, and now he's in the NBA. But it's not the National Basketball Association, it's Niagara Frontier Business Associates. I asked him to come and give a presentation, and I introduced him to the folks, and so I said, would you be interested in joining the group? And he says, you know, I have a really great bunch of guys here. And so when he joined, I sent him a text. I said, now you can tell all your friends and family you're in the NBA.
I think it's his value to the community that warrants the award. But really, what I've learned about him is that he's just a great person. Like, he's a truly wonderful human being. He cares about people. And he doesn't really do it for quid pro quo. Like, there's no schadenfreude with him or any of that. He just cares about people. We travel, and I see how kind he is to people that he doesn't even know. And he helps people.
Herb, I just want you to know I am so, so proud of you. not for just what you do publicly, but for what you do privately, and for being my best friend. I love you, and you know I love you forever. I'm so happy that you're able to receive this from me.
Wow, to hear all those comments and come up here, it makes it that much more emotional to accept it. You know, yeah, I should have maybe let me get the award first and then I could sit over there and cry or something. But thank you for this award, and thank you for great citizens that we've worked with in Buffalo and helping us continue our legacy, because it's true. I mean, between your organization and our organization, 68 years, and we're going on 50 years, we make Buffalo and Western New York a greater place. Thank you.
Each of our awardees tonight are receiving not just the engraved plaques, but citations from the county executive and the mayor of Buffalo. Our next legacy awardee is Dr. Michael Cain.
I'm Satish K. Tripathi, and I'm the president of University at Buffalo. Well, I was provost when we hired Dr. Cain as the Dean of School of Medicine, now known as the Jacob School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, and that was 15 years ago. When I became president, I appointed him also as the Vice President for Health Sciences. Dr. Cain is really a leader in the field of health sciences, and that's visible in the community, what we have been able to do, and it's also visible on the campus. He really is a true collaborator on the campus. You know, he works with all the deans and the vice. In fact, he was sort of instrumental in starting a new department with the School of Engineering, the Biomedical Engineering Department, really a collaboration that goes on. And he has transformed the medical school. It's not just the building, which is really a major part of what Michael has been able to do, to be able to design a place for learning where it's not just the classes, it's the experiential learning. It's really getting to work with the hospitals and working on all kinds of medical teaching and so on.
The leading of the construction of the medical school's current location, that required depth, it required a level of tact, and it required an ability to be able to rally a community. And that's what Dr. Cain was able to do as the current location was being completed. 5 years ago, there were some microaggressions in the medical school. Often administrators want to say there's nothing wrong. That was not Dean Cain. Dean Cain recognized that some in the medical school community were being targeted, and that was not acceptable. So he allowed for the forming of a committee, a new committee in the medical school, but one that was necessary. It's the Committee on Diversity, Inclusion, and Learning Environment. It fit in with the university's goals for diversity and inclusion, but it goes further, because not only did he erect this committee and create the policy that drives the committee, but he made sure that every part of the medical school community was included in the committee, and that the governance, the policy that operates the committee is broad enough so that aggressions of every kind, micro and macro, would be dealt with and dealt with determinedly.
But he also has really transformed the thinking in the medical school. So if you think about, Michael Cain will tell you, and this is remarkable, just a few years ago, the number of underrepresented minority students in the medical school was 6%, really, really small. It's 19% this year. So remarkable change, and providing the access to the medical education to a broader section of the community. That's one achievement if you think about it.
This is the medical school's 175th year. And the medical school had never acknowledged underrepresented minorities in medicine as the graduates of the school. So he caused the search to discover who were these graduates. And the very first graduate he determined was worthy of lifting, not just as the first African American to graduate from Jacobs, but also that his life work was worthy of emulation. So he established a scholarship in his name, and that is important.
Well, Michael, thank you for what you have done here at UB, at the medical school, in the health sciences domain, and in the Western New York. I appreciate your leadership, not only within the university, but your leadership outside as well, as you work in the health field. And we look forward to working with you. You're coming back as a professor, and I'm really, really happy to see you work here.
So I know you all want to say thank you to Dr. Cain, but he's going to say a few words first.
So good evening, everyone. It's always an honor to receive an award from an organization that recognizes achievement. And I'm especially pleased and proud to receive tonight the 2021 Citation Award from the National Federation for Just Communities of Western New York, because I so value and I share your mission to overcome racism, bias, and discrimination in our society. This recognition from the National Foundation is very important to me, so thank you very, very much. I also congratulate the other awardees for their accomplishments in this area. As Dr. Tripathi said, when I joined UB in 2006, I was charged to favorably impact the public health of Western New York by educating the next generation of physicians and scientists, expanding our research programs, and with our hospital partners, make Buffalo a destination site for outstanding and equitable health care for all. From the onset, the effort to create a stronger academic health center required a commitment from the university and from our community. I'm pleased that it has been the case and needs to continue to be a joint university and community collaborative project. The Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences and the University at Buffalo aspire to greatness. Inclusion equates to excellence. We cannot be a great institution if we do not respect each other, do not benefit from each other. Each member of our community matters. Our diverse backgrounds enrich each of us directly, and together we make our community and university better. I have benefited from many colleagues during the past 15 years, both inside and outside the university. They have enriched my understanding of inclusion, and they work with me to create learning, research, and clinical care environments free of racism, bias, harassment, mistreatment, and disrespect. I have time to acknowledge only a few of many. I want to begin by thanking Dr. Margarita Dubokovich, who serves as my Senior Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, and also thank Dr. Tim Murphy, who serves as my Senior Associate Dean for Clinical and Translational Research and directs our NIH-funded Clinical Translational Science Institute that promises to advance research discoveries to improve health for all and to alleviate healthcare disparities in our community, which were clearly made visible during the COVID pandemic. They have each brought together large and diverse groups of faculty, staff, and community members and students to achieve these goals. I thank President Satish Tripathi for his commitment to an inclusive university. The partnerships between UB's Community Health Equity Research Institute, the African American Health Equity Task Force, and the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, along with the tireless efforts of community leaders, including Pastor Kinzer Pointer, Reverend George Nicholas, Rita Hubbard Robinson, and Dr. Henry Taylor, have helped me catalyze our efforts to make a difference. My thanks to those and many, many others who I didn't have time to mention. I am especially grateful to our students, from whom I have learned the most. Finally, I thank my family for their enduring and much needed support. My wife, Peggy, daughter Meredith, son Michael, daughter-in-law Rachel have collectively supported me from medical school through 6 years of graduate medical education, our 31 years in St. Louis, and now remarkably 15 years in Buffalo. In closing, please accept my deepest thanks and gratitude for this award and for attending this event. I look forward to continuing to work with you and continuing to serve my university and community. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
So you can just see, just looking at the quality of our recipients, you can see what a wonderful resource they serve in our community. We're really very blessed to have people like Herbert Bellamy, Dr. Cain, and our other award recipients as a part of our community. It just speaks so well for our future. Our final legacy award goes to a very dynamic couple here in Western New York, Deborah Goldman and Dr. Grant Goldman.
So Deborah and Grant are very humble, and they really care about the whole entire community. So I think they definitely lead by example and look for things that really make a difference. Being a grant writer, Deborah understands what impacts, society, and she seeks that out. So I think that it's a perfect fit for NFJC and her philanthropic giving.
I am Marisa Wigglesworth. I am the president and CEO of the Buffalo Society of Natural Sciences, which proudly manages the Buffalo Museum of Science and Tift Nature Preserve. Here at the Buffalo Museum of Science, I've had the privilege of working with Deborah and Grant as supporters and as people who have really been incredibly thoughtful about making important things happen for us, for our mission, and for the people we serve. Deborah and Grant came to me here at the Buffalo Museum of Science a few years ago and said they wanted to make a gift to support the museum, but they wanted to do something that would also particularly help the folks who live right here in our neighborhood. That conversation actually was the launch of our Neighbor Pass program. Our Neighbor Pass is a significantly price-reduced membership for families living in the 3 zip codes immediately adjacent to our Martin Luther King Park. So it's a great opportunity for us to say, we are neighbors. Come on in and visit. And it's been a marvelous tool for us to simply be better neighbors to the folks who live next door.
I think that Grant and Deborah's legacy, besides being role models for the community, the greater community and the Jewish community, is that they don't just give of their treasures financially, they get involved. And I think that's so important. They get into the weeds and they get to learn the issue and they interact with people, and they're very available, unbelievably available to talk and digest and to plan.
Here at the Buffalo Museum of Science, not only did they provide us the funding to launch that Neighbor Pass program, Deborah and Grant have also, they've made multiple investments in our work to really offer out into the community the kinds of resources and opportunities that many, many children or families around the region enjoy. They funded programming for us to do with our partners at the King Urban Life Center across the street. And most recently, they have provided funding to underwrite our decolonization efforts. Like so many museums, certainly we as a 160-year-old collecting institution recognize that colonialism is an undeniable part of our history and something we need to be assertive in addressing. So Deborah and Grant have stepped up. They're providing funding for us to compensate the partners who are working with us in this process and whose voices are so important to the conversations and moving forward with decolonization. And they're also helping us understand best practices and do some formal education in this space.
So something about Deborah, and she will say this, I'm not a process person, but of course she is. She likes to take her time and learn about things, but she is a doer. She wants things done, and she holds herself and others accountable, which I think is a wonderful trait.
They're quiet but very influential givers. They make a big impact. I know from the Jewish field that the word we use is tzedakah, which means charity, and the highest level of charity is when you give but you don't want to take the credit. And that's exactly that.
I would say to you, Deborah and Grant, I offer my incredible appreciation and my extraordinary congratulations. I believe that if society had more thoughtful people like yourselves, really giving back and paying forward and investing in our world to build the world you want to see and to share your values, my goodness, we'd all be in a better place. I'm really honored to have been invited to speak to you today as you receive this honor.
I may have referred to Deborah and Grant as Goldman. I'm not sure, but if I did, let me correct myself. It's Golden.
Wow, it's very nice. I'm really very touched. I'm Grant Golden, Dr. Golden, radiologist, and I'd like to begin by saying how honored, in truth, we're surprised, I think, to be included in this very wonderful and special group of Western New Yorkers. Step back a little. Step back. I'm supposed to step back a little. Okay, fine. But it's this way you get to hear me anyway. Anyway, Deborah and I have been very fortunate in many ways. Our financial well-being has allowed, indeed spurred us along our path of local gifting. This is the part that I know more about. Deborah, who has been active on many fronts in our community over the years, really deserves the lion's share of the credit for our baby steps into the world of philanthropy. She has helped to channel and focus our gifting, transforming what started pretty haphazardly into something more substantial and meaningful. Together, we identified several areas of particular interest to us: women's issues, including reproductive rights, addressing racial injustice and inequality, culturals, including especially the theaters and museums in town, literacy, and a variety of Jewish concerns. Working in conjunction with and under the aegis of the Foundation for Jewish Philanthropies, we recently established a website presence, effectively saying to our friends and neighbors, we're here and we'd like to help you. After years of flying under the radar, we are, I think, beginning to catch on a little bit. Deborah and I both thought it important to keep our gifting at the local level. With so many nonprofits doing so many wonderful things all around us, why look any farther than your own backyard? That's the way we think of it. No, we're not going to heal the whole world, or in Hebrew is tikkun olam, to heal the world. But hey, we think we're beginning to make a little difference here in Western New York, and that's something that we are proud of. Let me end with a paraphrase, an unlikely paraphrase, from Dolly Gallagher Levi. Does that name mean anything to any of you? Dolly Levi? From Hello, Dolly? Any of you seen that old music? Okay, here's what she said, or close to it. Money, you'll pardon the expression, is like manure. It doesn't mean a thing unless you spread it around, encouraging good things to grow. Well, that's our goal, and we'll be happy to keep at it for just as long as we can. And now introducing my wife, Deborah Goldman.
First, I want to thank all of you here and the awardees for everything you do in this community. Grant and I want to thank Marisa, Mara, and Erwin for their kind words. And thanks to all of our partners in the community. We've learned so much from you, and your work inspires us. Thanks, Grant, for your compliments and being a committed and thoughtful partner. When Renee called to ask me if we would accept the Citation Award, I was completely blown over. We're so honored to be included as Citation Award recipients. As you all know, the NFJC is dedicated to overcoming racism, bias, and discrimination by building understanding, respect, and trust through education, advocacy, and community involvement. We applaud the NFJC. In Pirkei Avot, the saying of our ancestors, Rabbi Tarfon said, "It is not for you to finish the work. It is also not up to you to desist." He also said, "Know that you're part of the living chain of people who have dreamed and worked for a better world." Grant and I are passionate about working to build a more just and equitable society, Buffalo community. Not only have we been fortunate, as Grant said, enough to be able to take action ourselves, but we've found wonderful community partners. It isn't just about the result. Each individual step that each one of us makes is significant. Grant and I encourage each and every one of us to continue asking, how can we help make a difference in small and large ways? Each step has a potential to make a difference. To quote Booker T. Washington, if you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Thank you again for recognizing with this award, and thanks for everything that you do in our community.
Ditto.
I'll take this. You get that.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank all the award honorees for their heartfelt comments. They were just beautiful, so thank you all. One more round of applause, please, for our legacy awardees. At this time, we are excited to share information with you about the NFJC and the important work this human relations organization undertakes in this community.
Oh, yeah. Great. Wonderful. Okay, thank you. All right, bye. Good evening, everyone. I am Renee Pettis-Jones, president of the NFJC, and I'm coming to you from our NFJC offices here at 360 Delaware to tell you a little bit about our programming. As you'll hear from our consultant and our intern, we've been very busy here at the NFJC. 2020 and 2021 have been challenging years for all of us, but we've overcome those challenges and have produced some quality programs even through this virtual dimension that we're talking to you here. You'll get a chance to see some of the ideas and the programs that we've put out into the community. You'll get a chance to hear a little bit about their passion and my passion for this organization that I believe so much in. We all have to work together to overcome and bridge these divides and gaps that come between us and work together as a community, a Western New York community, a more just community. And as you'll see from some of our programs and initiatives, that is the absolute goal. We want to bridge divides and bring people together in many ways. And as you'll tell from some of the programs that we've done throughout the year, this is exciting for us. Challenging, but exciting.
So my name is Alex Tripoli. I'm a student at UB right now, and I'm in the Health and Human Service program. And as part of my credits to get my degree, I had to get an internship. So I was looking at a list of all the nonprofits in the Buffalo area, and I saw the NFJC as one. So I sent an email, Renee emailed me back, and I got a spot here, and now I've been learning a lot about the human service field.
Cara Oliver Perez. My company is Native Pens Creative Publishing, LLC. And my connection to NFJC is that I have the great pleasure of serving as an independent contractor and consultant for our youth programs.
I'd say a big thing I've been learning is how important it is to have these sort of safe and non-judgmental conversations with people where you can invite them into a group and just sort of talk about sensitive topics where they can express how they feel without knowing they're going to be judged.
Well, actually, it's almost like a renaissance time. The strange thing about COVID is, and the pandemic is that it allowed us to rethink and reshape how do we communicate with one another, right? So using more technology, more virtual opportunities, the NFJC has been able to pivot a lot of their amazing programming to this platform. In addition, as we're developing and reshaping our youth programs, we're also looking at this generation. This generation is so in tune with technology, so in tune with social media, and so in tune with social activism. So how do we, as an organization who has been sustaining for all these years, come together and now start to rethink how we do that? And it started with creating a strategic plan centered around programmatic efforts. Now we're going to have the great fortune to offer programming to our K-4 cohort, right? So starting with the littles, right? Because we know at the very foundation, it starts with our youth, our young, right? Our babies, essentially. And so transitioning that from a standpoint to identity, to leadership, to global citizenship, right? And so it's gonna be a heavy lift, but it's great work, it's meaningful work, and there's no better organization than the NFJC to take on that charge.
Many thanks to the awesome staff, Mark Romany, Program Director, and Lynn Leopold, Office Manager. Without them, this work couldn't get done. They work tirelessly for our organization to accomplish all of our goals and mission. The NFJC is thrilled to announce a new project that will be in school soon. We're even more excited to offer you a sneak peek at what it would look like tonight.
I'll have my usual chicken wings, please.
You know what? You'll love the surprise lunch I have for you.
Oh boy, really? Thanks, Amy.
Take a look at this.
Raw fish.
I know, right? I was watching a nature show on wildcats and I learned this is what your species eats.
Stereotypes. Digging into diversity with the NFJC. We're so excited about this project and collaboration. Look out for this initiative coming soon to a school near you.
is made possible by your generous donations, and your financial help for this organization is needed now more than ever. I ask you, no, I urge you to please consider a stretch gift this year. Please visit our website at nfjcwny.org, where you can make a contribution of support for and in partnership with the work that this organization undertakes. On behalf of everyone at NFJC, we thank you in advance for your generosity. Now, to continue our evening, we're excited to introduce our next category, the Up and Coming Award. This year's inaugural honoree is the very dynamic Jamil Crews.
Jamil and his wife Sally started coming to renovation a number of years ago, and we became friends over the years. A lot of different interactions in different places and spaces, and so it's been an honor and privilege to be his pastor, but even better, I feel like we're really good friends now. That's one of the things that I have been on a journey with myself, is really stepping into advocacy and what that means, justice and all of those things. And that was one of the first things that I noticed about Jamil, is his advocacy, his willingness, his fight for not just himself, not just like a platform, but for others. And so it's 30 under 30 to all different kind of scenarios, whether it's related to what's going on at renovation and the things that we try to do in the community, or whether it's out of the mayor's office, or it's a clean sweep, or just a numerous things that I have seen him invested in, incarceration, a more fair and just system of incarceration and all those things. And so Jamil's been not only a good friend, but I've watched and I've grown and I've gotten to learn a lot just because of him.
My name is April Baskin. I am the chairperson of the Erie County Legislature and representative for District 2. Jamil is definitely a leader, a trendsetter in creating opportunities to even the playing field for communities and people and demographics that are often left out of opportunity. In the educational world, we know that children that come from low-income homes and low-income communities often find a hard time finding success in their academics. And through his work with Say Yes Buffalo, he is making sure that their brand reaches every child that is in need in the city of Buffalo, so that they can maximize their opportunities in higher education.
My take is there's a lot of people that talk racial equity and inclusion. Jamil lives racial equity and inclusion as a Black man, as a leader in our community. He's so approachable and easy to talk to when you see him working, but just as approachable when you see him in community, living the work outside of the job that he has to do every day. I've seen that for a long time. Jamil volunteers for commitments that are important to him. I'd also note too, the work Jamil does in taking stories and bringing them to life is incredible. Whether it's through writing, through video production, through social media, his ability to influence and tell a story that's really critical that everybody hears on the importance of racial equity, inclusion, and opportunity for all. That's a game changer in my opinion. Everybody in the city has potential, not everyone has been given opportunity. Jamil's work helps lift up stories to ensure everybody gets those opportunities. And he does it not just professionally, personally, right? He doesn't leave and then it ends. He does it full time. Just a wonderful man, wonderful human being, a wonderful Black leader in our community. And I'm so lucky, again, I've said it a few times, to have him as a colleague, at Say Yes Buffalo. He's just highly respected because he's the best.
Jamil, congratulations. You are my brother, you are my friend, you are a leader, you are a mentor to me and my family and the rest of Buffalo and Erie County. I want to tell you that if I could sum up who you are in one word, it would be the word believer. I know that it is your belief in people of color, your belief in youth, your belief in Buffalo reaching its full potential, your belief in Christ, your belief in your friends, All of those things are what make you you and what gives us the opportunities to excel every single day. The Bible says faith without works is dead, and you are definitely someone that has faith in everybody that you touch. But it's not just because you believe in them or your faith in them, it's because the work that you put in to making sure that they soar that's what makes you great, and that's what makes you amazing. So I just want you to know that I'm proud of you and I love you. Keep believing. We need you to keep believing. Thank you for being a believer, Jamil Crews. Congratulations.
Herb, I know exactly what you meant when you said you got emotional, like Jesus Christ. My God, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate this recognition and this honor. I did prepare some remarks here, so if you will just indulge me just for a second. First, I want to start by giving all honor and praise to God for the continued blessings that He bestows upon me. I recognize that without Him, none of this is possible. I'm forever grateful for His presence in my life, and I thank Him for never leading me astray. To the committee of the NFJC, thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you do, not only to make our communities better, but also for seeing me and recognizing the contributions to this city that I've made, not only to the city, but this community that I love. So thank you so much for all that you do. To all of the other honorees tonight, congratulations. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Herb Bellamy. You are someone that I've always admired. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I've always admired you, Mr. Bellamy. To see, the success of someone who looks like me is just, and seeing it at a high level is such an inspiration. And I thank you and all of tonight's honorees for continuing to lead the way and lead by example. My final acknowledgements go to each person who was here to celebrate with me tonight. I can probably give a dissertation on my relationship with each one of you here, but let me just say that it is an honor to call each of you a friend, and I love you, each of you immensely, for always being by my side. I want to give a special shout out to my father who's here with me today. And I'm hoping I'm making you proud. And also, of course, to my best friend, my rock, my wife, Sally Crews. Thank you for thank you for not only helping to make this the best year of my life, but also continuing to ride with me in all my crazy shenanigans. I love you. So one of the greatest gifts that is ever given to me from God is this incredible ability to have vision. And as I look around this room, I can see and feel so much potential that is yet to be tapped into. Some of it may be from a lack of clarity, or it might be fear or insecurity. Whatever it is that's holding you back, let it go and just live. Live your life as if no one is watching. Live your life giving 120% to what you do. Understand that each of you have a unique set of gifts that each one of you have a unique set of gifts, and no one can do things the way you do them. I see greatness in each and every person that's in this room tonight. And with that, I challenge each of you to tap into that greatness. I don't care if you're young, old, black, white, rich, poor, or purple. I don't care whether you're seasoned, whether you are young. I just really encourage you just to tap into that greatness. You all each have an obligation to give this world all that you have so that the next generation can reap what you've sowed. So lastly, let me speak quickly to my 40 and under crew in here tonight. While I recognize and I'm extremely, extremely grateful for this up and coming award, I say this with an immense amount of humility that it's our time. It's my time. It's our time. The spotlight is on. So before the scene's done, make your mark. But you don't have to be seen to make one. You don't grow in isolation, you grow in community. We're planting seeds for trees we'll never see. And as a late great philosopher Nipsey Hussle said, the game will test you, never fold. Stay 10 toes down. It's not on you, it's in you. And what's in you, they can never take away. And always don't forget that in our pursuit of greatness and our pursuit to change the world, that we're gonna face challenges, we're gonna face setbacks, but setbacks are just set up for comebacks. And tough times don't last, but tough people do. The marathon continues. Thank you.
Congratulations, that was so inspiring. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Jamal. Very profound words. I think it's probably the first time I've ever heard Nipsey Russell referred to as a philosopher, but his words were certainly spot on. So I've been told that I have to stall for a moment while we get a technical glitch fixed. So I just wanted to say to you, Jamal said something to the effect of, for his 40 and under crew, it's their time. And I think it indeed is, but I think if you look at how they've been set up by some of our other honorees who are a bit older, and we'll gladly be moving aside because we do look forward to what all of you have to offer. So if you are in that up and coming group, doesn't matter how old you are, that up and coming group, I look forward to what you have to offer, because it was, as I think of those individuals who've impacted my life, years ago, it was them who I think set things up for me so I can make whatever small contributions I've made to our community. So very profound word, Jamal, and we look forward to what you and your crew will be doing as we go forward in the future years. I think our community and our city is well positioned for additional greatness. So our final award this evening is also a new category, and this is the Corporate Stewardship Award. And this first year, the inaugural award has been given to M&T Bank.
Our connection between M&T and NFJC goes back decades. When I think about our mission and purpose, both organizations align almost perfectly. Our mission at M&T Bank is to make a difference in people's lives, and I can't think of another organization here in Western New York that makes more of a difference in people's lives.
My name is Michelle Marie Gant. I am a Director of Diversity and Inclusion. I've been in the role for a few months now. My role is to try to make things better in the context of our communities, in the context of our employee base, in the context of thinking about inequities and how do we right them. It stems from thinking about how we dive into employee experiences, and when we do that, we're trying to use new ways of thinking, new ways of working. New skills are being exercised and learned, which is great. And at the same time, some things are in the more simpler forms of how do we motivate people to change their behaviors. So we dive into that as well.
And it's something that we realized, if we're going to make a difference in people's lives through banking, we have to create the best customer experience. We deliver the best customer experience through our employees. So in order for us to really achieve that mission and purpose, to deliver that experience, we have to deliver the best-in-class employee experience, which means, by and large, we have to make sure we build an inclusive environment where every person feels like they belong and can contribute. So DEI is at the core of that. You have to reflect on, celebrate people's differences and support them in the ways they need to be, and the only way you can really do that is getting to know people, build relationships, break down barriers, and continue to build forward.
By participating in this program,
M&T has created employment opportunities for talented neurodiverse adults who up to now, as I said, have been 80% or more under or unemployed. Now they are strong contributors to M&T's business with terrific growth potential in the future. There are so many great jobs at a place like M&T in IT, risk management, compliance, finance, back office legal, HR, lockbox, the list goes on and on. By working together with TPI's innovative neurodiverse employment model, M&T will help us move the needle on 10,000 jobs for people on the autism spectrum.
Now there's a lot of different opportunities to think about perhaps what may be considered non-traditional ways of building your workforce. And these opportunities are perhaps more in the pilot or test and learn phase, but there's many of them that are coming to us or we are looking to create. And those opportunities are great because the source, like the people we're looking to source from, it's the community. Often the underserved, underdeveloped communities, and quite frankly, that gets me excited to say, how can we actually give back in a real way? How can we take what we've learned, teach others, and make them ready for working at M&T Bank and some of our colleagues, other organizations in Western New York and beyond as well.
When it comes to DEI and diversity work, everyone has unconscious biases that they can be working on every day to chip away at. So I would encourage folks to step in, to lean in, to be vulnerable, and start to explore where they may have unconscious bias, to start to experience other people, cultures, and things, and really break down those barriers.
There are always folks who will be comfortable with the way things are because it's worked from their perspective. But there's always a way around those challenges. At any given day, you can have a low moment of, hey, I hit another brick wall, but I always know and take comfort in that it's temporary. It's temporary. It's just a matter of, all right, how do I need to influence or leverage a different skill set or different influencing style to really get momentum or people or processes to change?
Ultimately, the end goal is, especially when you think about community, is you see inequities removed. You see people successful in however they define that. You see people that are flourishing however they define that. You don't see things like the racial wealth gap, right? You see people building generational wealth that they can hand off generation by generation equitably. So ultimately, right, when you think about it, we're creating a community, ultimately a nation where anyone truly can have the American dream and achieve.
Due to the pandemic and company policies, M&T is unable to join us here, but we do have a video message from their Chief Diversity Officer, Glenn Jackson.
Hi, and thank you so much on behalf of M&T Bank for the Citation Award. We really wish we could be in all of your presence today, and I know we're going to get there soon enough. So thank you for this award, this relationship we built with NFJC in creating One Buffalo.
Congratulations to all the honorees here tonight and the many more who are watching at home. I love that music. Oh, it's stuck in my head. It's going to be a brainworm tonight. That's what. We've enjoyed honoring you, Herb Bellamy Jr., Dr. Michael Cain, Deborah Goldman and Grant Golden, Jamil Crews, and of course, M&T Bank. You are all our heroes. Let's all continue to dedicate ourselves to being more like each one of our honorees. We all play a part in making Western New York a just and inclusive community. Many thanks to Bernie Tolbert, who happens to be our NFJC board president, and Catherine Schweitzer, who is also our NFJC Foundation consultant, for their steadfast and unwavering support of not only of this event, but the NFJC. And let's give them a round of applause for tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I'd also like to send my biggest and heartiest thanks, and we've got some of our staff back here, to our dedicated staff, Office Manager Lynn Leopold, who is not in the room. Lynn, thank you for everything. And of course, Program Director Mark Romany. Thank you, Mark. And our UB Social Work intern, Alex Tripoli. Thank you, Alex. And of course, we have our accountant here as well, Valerie Warren, and I don't think she's in the room either, but thank you, Val. They worked so tirelessly to make this evening run so smoothly, and I thank them for that. Also, thank you to the staff, of course, and servers here at the Riker, to Jazz Boleyn. We really do look forward to a delicious meal. And what a beautiful space this is, and lots of pretty night, but that's okay, we're making it beautiful in here. Finally, I would like to thank each of you for watching this event either live here or from your devices. You are why we continue to work tirelessly towards our mission and goals. Keep connecting with us and each other, and keep supporting the NFJC. Together, we really do work better. And now to close us out, I'd like to welcome to the podium NFJC board member and national NFJC rep, the illustrious, the luminary, the Reverend Craig D. Pridgeon. Reverend Pridgeon, take us home.
I didn't know who she was talking about at first. Let me say this. Years and years and years ago, my grandmother pulled everybody together for Thanksgiving. And we were there for Thanksgiving, and everything was in the oven, stuff was cooking. It didn't smell like Thanksgiving, though. We looked, and the oven had broke, and the oven was not working. So we all began to panic and try to figure out. She wasn't panicking, and there were 4, and those of you that are country call it eyes. Those of you that don't know, y'all call it the stove top. She had 4 stove eyes and a hot plate. She cooked an entire Thanksgiving meal with 4 stove eyes and a hot plate. You that we honored tonight are continuing to cook with 4 eyes and a hot plate. As difficult as times are right now, as challenging as times may be, you continue to figure out how to make things happen. Jamil, you get the leader of the legislature to get on a video for you. I'm a little jealous. I got a little problem with you. We can do so much more together. So glad to see Niagara University here, and the new Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Tamara Miner, who I've had the privilege of sitting down with and talking to. We can do so much more together. Let us pray. We come and thank you for these whom we have honored today. We thank you for the work of the National Federation for Just Communities. We thank you that in spite of how dark, how cold, and how ugly our world may be, there are those that continue to see beauty for ashes. We pray that you would continue to bless our time together tonight as we eat together and as we celebrate together. Watch over us, watch over our wonderful city, watch over our amazing state. Bless this country. In your name we pray. Amen and amen.
For those of you at home, again, thank you for tuning in. And for us here, we're getting ready to eat. So sit back, enjoy. Thanks again for being here. One last lovely treat that I do have for you. At your table places, I believe there's a card. And we're just going to ask you to open up that card and see, because we have a lucky prize that we are giving out to some lucky winner. Someone will say winner on your ticket. But you get 2 tickets to an October performance at Shade 710, The Curious Incident of the Dog and the Nighttime. So if you've got your ticket that says winner, you're the lucky winner of these 2 tickets. Exactly. Find that ticket. Anybody see a winner on their ticket? You see a winner? Do we have winner? Nobody's got a winner yet? Oh, of course, it's going to be at a table. Oh, do we say we have a winner? Maybe not. All right, we're going to find that ticket yet. I think I'm going to miraculously just place it down someplace. Well, enjoy dinner, everyone. And again, thank you for this.